Going on YouTube. I'm just reading up on this FBI managed aggression, as you can see up the top in the search bar. I'm on the FBI website and reading up on this managed aggression and threat assessment. Bro, they are basically telling us that society is involved with this gang stalking. Once they label you a threat, this right here tells you everything that they're doing to you. Once you're labeled as a threat, look at this right here, page 6. Barriers of successful engagement. Now, these are the people they're saying play a critical role. Entities identified below all potentially play a role in threat assessment and management. They may encounter or inadvertently cause barriers to successful engagement. Threat management is about diverting dangerous and concerning behaviors away from a course that will ultimately lead to an act of target violence. And any person or organization interacting with a person of concern would be the targeted individual. A person of concern is the targeted individual. Can impact the course of events. As a proactive measure when faced with a person of concern, referral of the matter to a local threat management team is always a good choice and is at minimal preferable to doing nothing. Here are the entities that's involved. Law enforcement. Most uniform law enforcement organizations are stretched thin as it is. It can be difficult. I'm not even going to read those passages. I'm just going to read down the entities that's involved. Law enforcement, prosecution, the schools, social service, the healthcare system and providers, the lawmakers, the courts, probation and parole, employers, so those are the businesses aspect end of it, and parents and immediate family, bystanders, friends, neighbors, and loved ones. I've been reading this thing for about 20, 30 minutes now. I'm on page 8, as you can see. And this right here is the blueprint to what they're doing and how they're going about doing it and how they're successfully covertly harassing people, covertly and overtly harassing people. And this is why society is against the targeted individual, because we've been put on this threat list as obviously a person of concern. And this is why we're systematically harassed in all facets of life. This pamphlet, these documents tell you everything and everybody and all entities that's involved with this gang stalking. It even say bystanders such as friends, neighbors, and loved ones. Anyone with an opportunity to observe or interact with a person or concern may see or hear something that generates apprehension. When it happens, bystanders are urged to communicate that information on to an appropriate person as referred below in bystanders. So it tells you that they're going to have your friends and neighbors and loved ones participating in this if you are a person of concern. It tells you that your parents and immediate family is going to be involved in your organized harassment if you are a person of concern. It tells you that your employers are going to be in on your covert and overt harassment and surveillance if you are deemed a person of concern. It tells you that your probation and parole will partake in this if you are a person of concern. It tells you the courts will partake in this. The lawmakers know all about this. These are the FBI documents, the healthcare system. That's why people get falsely diagnosed with mental illnesses, because they are persons of concerns. In order to keep this big, elaborate pyramid scheme going, they need individuals like me and you to point the fingers at and say, that's the bad guy. That's the truest fucking line in any movie. They literally need people like us so they can point the finger and say, that's the bad guy, when we're being systematically harassed through all facets of society because we're deemed a person of concern. Social service, the schools, prosecution, and law enforcement all plays a role in covert and overt harassment of people they perceive to be persons of concern. Now, I was ready to end this video, but I just wanted to read this last paragraph right here. In this video, it says, early recognition of barriers. So I'm skipping the first paragraph because I found the second one more appeasing. It say barriers to successful engagement vary in degrees of difficulty and can be encountered throughout the process. For example, erroneous information may surface during any stage of assessment. This common occurrence can cause threat managers to treat unsubstantiated rumor as fact and exhaust resources prematurely. So regardless on even if their information was erroneous, they still would treat it as fact or lead to a stalemate wait and see circumstance wherein the lack sufficient corroborated information upon which to base case decisions. Avoiding these barriers requires threat managers to carefully validate information when it is received. As threat management teams mature, they will become increasingly adept at identifying and navigating challenges. Members should always take the time to consider all obstacles during every assessment.